Well, I'm back. I would not say better than ever. Woke up sick this morning. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. My voice is far from normal. I intended on getting a video, at least one video up yesterday. I couldn't find the motivation to do it. I'm exhausted. I got back from Indianapolis early yesterday morning. Had a great trip. Stopped by Cincinnati on the way back to see a friend up there. The highlight of the trip by far was watching all the Alabama fans leave dejected Monday night. I've got a lot of respect for Nick Saban, but I enjoy giving Alabama a hard time. Actually, Alabama is kind of going to be a primary topic of this video. I spent 4 days in Indianapolis. I was at the national championship game. We hung out in the city for a couple of days before the game. I was shocked at the disparity between Alabama and Georgia. Alabama fans usually travel well. Hell, you can't get away from them. Everywhere you go, all you hear is Roll Tide or Sweet Home Alabama with their own little rendition of the song. They can get on your nerves rather quickly. Alabama fans are passionate about their team, but in Indianapolis, Alabama fans were scarce. We were at Kilroy's Sunday downtown Indy watching the NFL, watching Matt Stafford do what he does best, throwing an interception in crunch time to lose a game and cost my Saints their shot at the playoffs. Kilroy's was overrun with Georgia fans and Georgia alumni, with only a handful of Alabama fans there. Inside Lucas Oil Stadium, it was easily 70-30 in favor of Georgia. And I'm being conservative. It might have been closer to 80-20. Fans of Georgia showed up to Indianapolis, while fans from Alabama decided to stay home. Was it the cold weather that kept them home? Was it the rematch with Georgia? Maybe they traveled to Atlanta to watch Alabama beat the hell out of Georgia in the SEC championship game and decided spending thousands of dollars on another potential blowout just wasn't worth the money. I think the reason that most Alabama fans stayed home was fatigue. This reflected in the television ratings for Monday night, too. I believe there is Alabama fatigue in college football. Alabama has competed in 9 of the last 12 national championship games. They continue playing the same teams every year: Clemson twice, Georgia twice, Ohio State. After 12 years, the novelty of traveling to the national championship for some people, it begins to lose its appeal. Like I said, it reflected in the ratings Monday night and the last couple of years. Monday night, over 22 million people tuned in to watch Kirby Smart win his first national championship. Now, while the NBA would love to average 22 million for the NBA Finals, this number is low for college football compared to past national championship games. It's the second lowest watched championship game since the playoff system started in 2015. The lowest happened last year when Alabama played Ohio State, 18.7 million. Last year's national championship got beat out by both semifinal playoff games. Normally in sports, dynasties are great for television ratings. The Bulls in the 90s set record ratings for the NBA. The Warriors dynasty a few years ago was great for NBA ratings. The Patriots in the NFL. But there's a difference between those and Alabama's dominance in college football over the last decade. And that difference, competitiveness. We have talked about this before, the lack of competitiveness in college football. These major programs, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Clemsons, they only play one or two close games every year. They basically have a free pass to the playoffs. You look at the top 20, 25 teams in the country, they're all beating their opponents handily. Georgia beat their opponents by 27 points a game this season. Ohio State, 23. Cincinnati, Alabama, 19. The majority of college football, the games are not close. In the past, this wasn't really a big problem, or at least as big of a problem as it is now. You didn't have the competition in the 80s and 90s that you have today. Streaming services, YouTube, TikTok. The way leagues succeed in the ratings is by drawing in and maintaining the casual viewership. I am a casual viewer of college football. I don't miss a game in the NFL, but college football, I only watch the big games. On a Saturday afternoon, if I have the option to play golf or binge watch Netflix or watch Ohio State play the Citadel, Alabama play Mercer, What do you think I'm going to choose to do? Now, contrast that lack of competitiveness in college football with the NFL. The NFL has always been competitive, but 2021 was the most competitive and balanced that we have seen the NFL. 34 games were decided on the final play, the most ever in a single season. 49 games were decided in the final minute or overtime, which tied another record. 64% of NFL games were within one possession in the fourth quarter. Now, gambling helps the NFL a lot, but this is the reason why. When people bet on sports, they're looking to win money, but the biggest thing, they are looking to be entertained. They're looking for that rush. It's hard to get that rush in college football when the majority of games are over by halftime. In the NFL, the outcome of your bet is coming down to the final minute, a lot of times the final play of the game. Going into the college football playoff, most of us knew it was going to be a rematch between Alabama and Georgia. No one, no one can predict the Super Bowl matchup right now. There is not one dominant team in the NFL that's above the rest. I mean, the Bucks have Tom Brady, but they're plagued by injuries. The Chiefs are on fire, but they don't want to see a team like the Titans, who will have a fresh Derrick Henry back. The Bills are good, but we have seen Josh Allen collapse the last 2 years in the playoffs. On paper, the Dallas Cowboys are the most talented team in the league, both offensively and defensively. But does anyone really believe in Dak Prescott? You get the point. Going into the playoffs, all NFL teams have an equal opportunity to win. The competitiveness in the NFL is reflected in the television ratings. 2021 season, most watched NFL season since 2015. They averaged over 17 million viewers per game. Now, this is the regular season that we're talking about. It takes the NBA Finals 2, maybe 3 games to reach 17 million people. The top 48 of 50, 91 of 100 most watched shows on TV this year, NFL games. 370 billion minutes of NFL football were consumed this season. That is astronomical. Anytime NBA ratings are discussed in the media, we always hear the same excuses. Linear television ratings are down across the board. The NBA is more popular on social media than the NFL. The NBA has become the league where people watch highlights. They watch clips of games online. They don't watch full games. The NFL, millions upon millions of people are spending their entire Sunday watching NFL football. The 10 most watched NFL games this season were between 25 and 40 million viewers. Now, this goes to show you, people will watch when it's interesting. The NBA has become more interesting off the court than it is on the court. The biggest stories in the NBA, for the most part, are not even basketball related. LeBron James speaking his mind many times on issues he's uninformed about, the vaccination status of Kyrie Irving, NBA free agency. NBA free agency has become more popular than the NBA regular season. The biggest stories in the NFL, all football related. Now, don't get me wrong. College football is not in bad of shape as the NBA right now when it comes to television ratings. They're doing okay. College football is doing okay, but you go back a few years, college football was hitting over 25 to 30 million, 35 million in some cases for national championship games. Now, I'm hoping the NIL system they put in place where players are getting paid, I'm hoping that will change things. And I'm hoping they'll eventually implement a salary cap similar to what we have in the NFL. It is time that college football is treated for what it truly is, a minor league system for the NFL. In the past, major programs have had too many advantages when it comes to recruiting. The top 10, 15, 20 programs in the country, they snatch up all the 5-star players. Now that the players can be paid, they can transfer schools without forfeiting a year of eligibility. Maybe this will balance things out in college football. The NFL's proof. If you give people a reason to watch, they will watch. Going to that national championship game the other night in Indianapolis, you know what my biggest concern was? Is this going to be another blowout? Am I going to be bored by halftime? I never feel that way walking into the Superdome for a Saints game. I know the game's going to be competitive. College football needs to address the lack of competitiveness. I know it's all about tradition and rivalries, but wouldn't college football be so much better if the major programs were playing each other every week? All right, let me know what you guys think of the ratings for college football in the NFL. Does college football need to figure out a way to be more competitive on the field, or should they stick with tradition? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.